sweater vest. She used to be mine, but now it's like we never met. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye. Days and nights, skin and bone, I'm still here, but you moved on. I live inside an old photograph. I wish that I could feel your love again. So I live inside that old photograph. And I wish that I could feel your love again. Forever falls in love with the guy that wears sweater vests. Forever leaves fast in the middle of the night. Forever breaks my heart and never says goodbye.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Windswept Rob Broadcasting Corporation calling civilization. How are you out there? Hope you can hear me, and I hope you can see me. I'm assuming you can. Oh, that's a lot of chat popping up on the screen there, isn't it? Wow, look at that. Oh, I didn't realise that was going to be happening. Right, I'm going to close that screen down, which is one of me 7 seconds behind the real me. This is the real me. That's the 7 second behind me. And I need to hide it because it's very confusing. Okay. No sound. Aeroplane spotter says no sound. I don't know what you mean there, Jordan. Try turning the volume up. I think I've got sound. Because Dave says that the video and sound is good. And if Dave says it, I believe it. Okay. Aha, I think it was probably your end. Maybe you had the wee mute pressed on your telly. Aye. Okay, this sometimes happens, and it really throws me when one person will say, "You're muted." And I think, what? So I go through a whole process that takes about 30 seconds to discover that I'm not muted. And then when I look back up at the chat, everybody else is saying, "You're not muted." So there we go. Right, I think there's a few people in tonight. How many have we got? 15 it says here. 15 current viewers. That's more than I normally start with. I normally start with about 3. So 15's not bad. I suspect that there may be a few people in tonight who are new to the live stream and have been arguing a little bit with me in the comments over the past couple of videos that I've put up. Specifically me claiming to be the world's foremost expert in 360-degree drone videography, which I stick with. I am. If there's someone more expert than me, please let me know who it is, and I'll argue with you. Right, okay, so a few hellos. Punk Floyd 1314 says hello. Oh, did that pop up there? It did. Graham, hello, I have sound. Stevie, you've been in for a while. Jordan, I do have sound. See, everybody's telling you that I have sound. Dave, enjoyed your singing there. You won't be singing that intro for much longer, as I am changing it in 2026. I'm sorry. Jonathan, 7296, hello to you. Oops, I can't scroll my stuff. What's going on there? Right, that's everybody that has said hello in the chat. Turn the sounds off now. What sounds? What sounds? What are you talking about? Don't know what that means. Turn the sounds off now. Turn the sounds off now. Aye. Yeah, I think if you have sound issues, it's not my fault, it's your fault. Danger Drone, It's you. How you doing? And Odo, there's Odo. Odo just recorded the song. That's because there's only a couple of more weeks left of that song being my intro, as I've had it for at least 2-3 years now, and it's time for a change. So I've been working on a new intro song. So anyway, so that's everyone that is in the chat that I have responded to and said hello to. And like I said, there's probably a few people in who are wanting to see who is this guy that is claiming to be the world's foremost expert. Well, here you are. It's me. Right. Dave's going to start a campaign to bring back the sweater. It will fail. Okay, so on to tonight's topic, as the YouTubers say, without further ado, which is, I have written up in my board here. Actually, I've written live ads off as a reminder, but I didn't bother doing that because I just assumed that because I had turned the live ads off last week, that they would still be off. But it seems that a few of you have had ads, so I think it must reset itself back to the new default, which is ads on, and so I didn't turn it off. But I've written up in my board here as well, tonight's topic: hope for the best, plan for the worst. So what do I mean by that? Well, I'm a risk taker. I've always been a risk taker. I like to push the envelope. Sometimes I go through that envelope when I shouldn't. Oh, hello, wee thumbs up for me. My family, friends and ex-colleagues, I'm retired now so I don't have colleagues anymore, all use the same phrase about me, and that's, oh good God, what is that psycho up to now? Because I'm a risk taker. I enjoy being a risk taker. As I'm getting older, I don't take so many risks with my body. First of all, the body's no up to it. It's slower. It can't do as much as it used to. And second of all, it is more feeble. It's more prone to being injured, I believe. I haven't been injured for a long time, but I suspect as I get older, my body will become more prone to injury. So I take less risks with my body than I used to. But I still like to live my life taking risks on ideas and taking risks on pushing exploration. And for those of you who have followed my channel for the past 5 years, just over 5 years, I started this channel in November 5 years ago, but I didn't actually post anything for 6 months after I started it. So although the channel is just over 5 years old, I've only really been creating videos for about 4.5 years. However, for those of you who have followed the channel for a good length of time, you'll know that I am a risk taker. I have taken the DJI Mini 2 in particular and tested it right through the envelope. I've put on more weight than the drone can carry and still taken off. I've flown in storms, I've flown in snow, rain, hail, winds that are far beyond what DJI say you can fly in. And I've pushed the range limit quite a few times. I've pushed the connection, what's it called now? The connection between the controller and the drone. lost my words again. I've pushed that connection to the extreme as well. And it's always been a risk. I have flown drones until their batteries have died before returning to home, just to push that envelope, take that risk, all in order to expand my own knowledge about what the Mini 2, let's talk about that, the Mini 2 for a moment, to expand my knowledge on what the Mini 2 is capable of, how far it can actually go, what are its absolute limits, not the limits that DJI say are the limits, and not the limits that other reviewers say are the limits. because I don't trust any of them. I only, as a drone reviewer, I only trust one person, and that is me. And that's because I'll push the drone further than anyone. So, having said all of that, I thanks Dave, belated birthday. I suppose it did have its birthday in November, its 5th birthday in November. Although, as I say, I created the channel and it took me 6 months to actually post anything on it. I just had the idea I actually created 2 channels at the same time. And for 6 months, my focus was on the other channel, which I switched my focus 6 months after working on the other one. It just didn't pan out. But thanks for the birthday, the belated birthday. So anyway, why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you about the risks that I enjoy taking in my life and with my equipment? The title says it, hope for the best, plan for the worst. So I go out flying my drone, hoping for the best footage, the best experience, and the best video that I can make for you to watch. And I know that to get that, I have to take risks, because there are over 100 other drone YouTube channels out there with lots of great footage. And I'm not trying to knock anyone here who may have another drone channel, but it seems to me that the people who create these other channels, and some of you are in here just now, don't take a lot of risks. You're fairly safe, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're fairly safe sticking to the regulations, which is, of course, which we should all do, and I do, of course. But you don't really seem to take many risks, like flying low over water, which is not breaking any regulations, or flying into strong winds, which isn't breaking any regulations, or flying in rain or hail or snow, which isn't breaking any regulations. And so therefore, for my channel to stand out, and one of the reasons I have a YouTube channel is to stand out and say, look, here's what I can do, and have an audience to watch it. One of the things I do is I take risks. I will push the drone to other places, to places that other channels won't do that. And I hope that that's one of the reasons why you've come along for the ride with me and you're still here. So, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. Now, although I'm a risk taker, I'm not a stupid risk taker. I have contingency plans for all of the risks that I take. And I'm going to show you a video now that I'm still working on. It's not finished. And it's either, I haven't quite decided if it's going to be called an addendum to season 1, episode 6 of my Coastline series, which I released a couple of days ago, I think. Was it Friday? I can't remember when I released it, but hopefully you've all watched it by now. And if you haven't, shame on you. And if you have watched it and you forgot to give it a thumbs up, get back in there and give it a thumbs up for me. But that flight was on advice of a friend of mine. It finished at a point looking towards where the start of episode 7 will be. But that isn't where the flight ended, because the flight had to come back home. And I'm going to show you the video of that return flight, the flight returning to home. And I'm going to make a video. I've made a video of it. I haven't finished it yet, though. I still have to polish it up a little bit. So it'll be released in a few days. And I haven't decided yet whether to call it Season 1, Episode 6, Part 2, or Addendum, or something like that. But I'm going to show you now, and in this video you'll see me taking a risk, and you'll also see how I explain to plan for the worst. So let me see if I can throw this up. I'm going to play it for a few seconds, and then I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to come in the chat. And in fact, I won't stop it. What I'm going to do is I'll start playing it, and can you please tell me in the chat if you can hear, because I've put a little bit of music on it, and then I do some narration live at the location. It's not me talking here, it will be me on the video. So once it starts, if you can hear the music, please let me know. If you can't hear anything, let me know too. So here we go. And I'll mute my mic when it starts. So here we go. So can you hear that music? God, you couldn't hear what I was saying there, did you? I'm an idiot. Right. Yeah, that's because I had muted my mic, forgot to unmute it. Right, I've stopped again. I'm going to give a little explanation of what's happening just before I let the video run. Okay, so let me flick over to that screen. And you should be able to hear me now. I think. Aye. Right. So this is the flight on the way back, and I am here. Okay. This is where I am. And at this point in the way back, the wind has changed direction. And I'm now flying into a headwind. Now, the wind was really strong when I launched. But the wind was blowing in this direction here, right? So I knew that it's a tailwind when I'm coming back. But the wind changed direction, and it's now blowing this way. I'm flying directly into a headwind. So I'm over here, and at this point, the drone is down to 20% battery. It's hardly moving in the wind. And I know it's not going to be able to make it to the whole point. So let me continue with that video. So I had headed towards the car there because I thought, well, I may land at the car and that way I can ensure to make it home. But I think we get 16%. I think that's going to be enough to get me back to my home point. As long as I just don't, as long as I don't land in that that water there. $400 meters, 10% power. This is touch and go. It's forced landing and I want to cancel that. Of course you can't. So I don't want to land in the water. So if I land as close to the wall, it's got this wee bush. If I land at this wee bush, which is 200 meters away, I can go up and get it. Right, let's get up and get see if we can retrieve the drone up at that wee bush. So this is the first time that the Mavic 3 has failed to return to home, and it was my fault. The wind slightly changed direction. It was blowing in my favour for a return to the home point, but it did change, and despite all of the warnings that I give in my channel about preparing for a wind change, I disregarded my own advice. But the wee bush, I believe, is, oh, it could be that one across the other side of the burn. Looks like I'm going to be crossing the burn. Aye, it is. Right, so I'm going to have to cross over this wee burn here, which is fun. I was hoping not to do this. There we are, safely across. Because I believe that wee bush just up there is where I landed the drone. That is one thing, if you are going to have to land early, make sure you're landing at a place that you're going to be able to recognise and get to recover your drone. So that's what I did. So I should be just on the other side of that bush. And there it is. Okay. So everything looks okay. 360 camera doesn't look damaged. Drone's not damaged. Everything's good in the end. Right, so that's okay. So that is episode 6, of the first season of Scotland's entire coastline from a drone's eye view. A wee bit heart thumping there at the end as I realised that the drone wasn't going to make it all the way back because of the slight change in direction of the really strong wind. But I had contingency plans already, and on the walk down towards the coastline I had noted a few spots where I could drop the drone if necessary, and as you saw, the little bush there and the wall here
gave me a fine point to drop the drone. I knew it would be fairly safe, and the camera, the 360 camera, would be fairly safe because of the long grass here. I knew it would be safe to drop it down gently at the side of the bush there, and that's what I did. So I hope you enjoyed this. Now, it's really important, if you want this series to continue, that you give a thumbs up and you leave a comment in the video, because if you don't, the YouTube algorithm just won't push it out, and eventually the series will die for views. And if I don't get enough views to at least cover the cost of the fuel to get to the locations, then I'm going to have to stop doing it. So your help in this is really needed. Thumbs up and a comment at the very least. If you'd like to leave a wee super chat, that would be even better, but don't feel obligated. So anyway, until season 1 episode 7, which will be the flight up Kirkcudbright Bay towards Kirkcudbright itself, taking in, I think it's St Mary's Isle. Cheerio the now.
Right, there we go. Headphones. So there we are. So that is a perfect example of taking a risk. And the risk was that I had intended to fly, as I always do, until I have about between 10 and 15% battery power left. But the wind changed, and because it was such a strong wind, it ate up that last 10% of the battery power. And that is a risk that you take. But I believe in taking risks. Otherwise you don't learn anything new, and you don't get anything all that exciting often. But with the risks, like the title says, plan for the worst. So on the walk down in episode 6 that you should have all watched by now, although I was talking away to the camera and looking all around, I was taking note of different spots where, if the drone got into trouble on the way back, I could ditch the drone safely and then recover it. And that is one of the things that I believe is really important if you are a risk taker like me, or you're going to become a risk taker like me, is that you also have contingency plans. Okay, and that's what risk assessments are about too. Risk assessments are really about how you're going to prevent anything harmful happening to a third party. But you should also have your own internal risk assessment about, right, what could go wrong here and affect me, and including the property. Don't know if you can hear the rain battering down outside, but that storm's picking up fiercely. I should maybe get my drone and go out and fly in it, forget what I was saying there. But if you're going to be a risk taker like me, have a personal risk assessment as well as a risk assessment for third parties, so that in the event that you are going to be harmed, or your property, the drone, the cameras, are going to be harmed by the risks involved in whatever you're doing, have a set of alleviations in place, or contingency plans. Now, the one point of the video that I didn't have a contingency plan for was when I was about 100, maybe 200 metres off of the coast and directly over the sea. There's no contingency plan that you can have for that, other than saying, well, I'm high enough up that if the battery cuts out, or if anything happens, there's a possibility I could, well, the battery cuts out, the drone's just going to drop out the sky, but that never happens. So there are situations where you may, part of the risk that you're taking, you may not be able to have a contingency plan for. But that's what we have insurance for. Okay, so although you might have a contingency plan to save the drone in the event that something catastrophic happens, you will have insurance to cover the cost of the drone if something catastrophic happens. So I opened up this live tonight by saying that I am a risk taker, but I'm not an idiotic risk taker, okay? And I hope that you'll be the same. Start taking some risks. I have made a video on the channel. The title was something along the lines of throw caution to the wind. And it was about how don't be quite so cautious with your drone. Don't be so worried that something's going to go wrong if you fly it here or fly it there or fly it fast or whatever. Take some risks. Throw caution to the wind. 9 times out of 10, nothing's going to go wrong. And that 1 time out of 10 where something does go wrong, as long as you have your contingency plans in place, everything will be all right in the end. Okay? So there you go. So that was just what I wanted to talk a wee bit about tonight, about how to get some better footage, more exciting footage possibly, is by flying in conditions that you maybe normally would choose not to fly in, and flying in a manner that you may normally choose not to fly in. But to get some proper good footage, sometimes you need to do that. Okay. Right. Let me have a wee look at your chat. And Dave said a great point. Don't you say it when you hear that dreaded beeping? There's 2 sets of beeping that happen for those of you who have pushed that envelope a little bit. And the first is beep, 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 and that comes in at 20% battery power left. And then you get beep, 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 which matches your heart rate. It's okay, nobody's talking to you today. And that's when your battery is at 10%. And then what happened in that flight there, which I wasn't really prepared for, was that it went into a forced landing. Now, in the previous occasions where I've had a forced landing, you can cancel that forced landing and continue on. This time it wouldn't. It just would not cancel, because I still had about 1 minute and 17 seconds of flight left, according to the battery. I had 7% power in it, and I was only 188 metres. The drone was 188 metres away from my location. So with that time and that power left in, I should have easily been able to make it back to where I was, but the drone would not stop its forced landing. It was going down and nothing. You maybe noticed when the video comes out, watch again, and you'll see that I tap on the forced landing to cancel it a number of times, and it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to look into that and see why that is, because I want to be in full control. I want to know that if there is a forced landing happening, I can cancel it if I want to. I don't want the drone and the controller and DJI deciding we are going to force you to land and that's all there is to it. Because what would have happened if I had been directly over that pond and it had forced landing and I still had 7% battery power, which would have allowed me to get to the side of the pond. And then let's say the forced landing continued and the drone dropped into the pond. Then I'd be all over DJI saying your forced landing caused this drone to land in the water. It's your fault, not mine. And I would have a good argument, I think, about that. That fast beating that happens certainly raises your heart rate. It does. It can. The first 5 or 10 times I heard it over the past 5 years, it did. It didn't in this occasion. I don't worry about things like that anymore. I've had the forced landing a number of times, Surly Dev, and I've been able to cancel it every time. On this occasion, it wouldn't, and I still don't understand why. I don't know if there's been a change in the firmware that means you cannot now cancel a forced landing. I don't like that. I don't like not having full control over my own drone. I am the person that's in the best position to decide whether that drone should be landing or not. not a firmware update. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, you can do that. You can return the cancel the return to home message, and I did that in this flight because I prefer to fly home myself. So if I ever get an auto return to home, I cancel it, and then I decide what I'm going to do. I may return to home immediately. I may not. I may decide to hang about for a few minutes or continue to fly. That's normally what will happen. If I get an auto return to home happening, I'll cancel it and then continue to fly, get the footage that I want to get within the new limits of the battery power, and then I'll fly back to home myself. Okay. So Dave's noticed that the other day when he took a ×2 zoom image, it saved as a DNG and not as a JPEG. It normally saves as a JPEG. So there may be some changes. Although I haven't updated my firmware for I don't know how long. It could be a year, maybe 2 years since I last updated the firmware on my Mavic 3. It offers me the update often, but I quickly look and see what's on the update, and as I've said many times, if you have an update available to you that doesn't give you something new in the drone that you need and you have been waiting for, or fixes a problem that you have with the drone, then I believe you shouldn't update. Now, I think it might be one of the proper regulations, is that you have to fly your drone with the latest firmware available. And I don't think that's the safest way to fly because, as I've said before, many new firmware updates introduce glitches, gremlins that cause problems with the drone, and I believe that the version of firmware that I have I know it's very stable. I know it's 100% stable. So it's safer for me to fly with the older firmware that I have than update to some new firmware that introduces some new features that I don't need, don't want, won't use, and gives the possibility of making the drone flight more unstable. I'm just not going to do that. Safety first, always safety first. And if the CAA say that safety first means updating to the latest firmware, then they're wrong. That is not the safest way to do it. So I'm not going to do it. They slip other things into the firmware updates, early devices, I'm sure. For instance, I'm certain I used to have a 4x digital zoom on the camera in the past on my mini drones. I can't remember what the digital zoom is on the mini drones, to be honest with you. I haven't flown them for so long that I can't remember. But I think it's more than ×2. I think you're right. I think it was ×4. I think it was ×4. I can't remember. But I may fire up the Mini 2 and let you know next week, because I haven't updated my Mini 2 for about three years. So it should still have whatever zoom it had 3 years ago. So I might fire it up and let you know. Mini 3 Pro's ×2. Dave has always been ×2 because I think Santa Claus's sleigh is driving about outside. I thought it was more than that. I could be wrong. Though. Right. Okay. I don't really have anything more. That was all I had tonight, to be honest with you, other than to say that if you've been following the comments on certainly the video what they put out that said the anti-gravity A1 can't do this, and then it was a 360 degree video of part of the Coastline series. So the title was right. It wasn't clickbait. It was saying the anti-gravity can't do this. And then the video showed a 360 degree video where you as the viewer can spin around and look. So the title was saying exactly what the content of the video was. And then the follow-up video to that one was, let me just see if I can find it. Oops. It was a video called The Anti-Gravity A1 Has a Serious Problem, which was a clip. I clipped a section from last week's live stream where I spoke about some of the issues that the anti-gravity A1 has. Now, I've had a lot of comments with people up in arms. First of all, at me claiming I'm the world's foremost expert. I am. They're up in arms about that, but they're also up in arms about me saying that the anti-gravity A1 can't do this and can't do that. What I am taking from their comments is that they watched a couple of minutes of each of those videos and then started to hammer furiously in the comment section. They didn't watch the entire video, and if they did, they certainly didn't watch the entire live stream from last week. So, if there are any of you chaps who had some of the heated comment debates with me on either of those two videos, I suggest that you go and watch last week's live stream. It's a 2-hour long live stream where I break down the A1 into 5 points and explain everything that's wrong with it. There is another. There's the anti-gravity A1 videos are starting to appear. There's a video I watched from a guy called, I think it was Jay's Tech. I think it is Jay's Tech. He's quite a big channel. 235,000 subscribers, I think, around there. Jay's Tech. I had not been aware of Jay's Tech until someone sent me the link. And I feel quite bad for him. He bought the anti-gravity A1 himself. It wasn't a sponsored video he made. He bought it himself and found that it was so bad at all of the points that I mentioned in my live stream that 6 hours after he bought it and took it out and tested it, he attempted a return. Anti-gravity refused the return, and they said to him that just give it to someone else, it would make a great gift. Now, the guy paid $2,000 for this drone, and the answer from anti-gravity, from the company, when he said this drone is not fit for purpose, I want to return it, is no, we don't have a returns policy. Just give it to someone, it'll be a great gift. I think that's outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. But if you watch, I haven't got the link for you here. I didn't have it planned. I wasn't even going to mention it. But if you go, I think it's Jay's Tech or Jay's Tech Channel or something like that. Jay, Jay's Tech Channel, something like that. If you just search it on YouTube, I'm sure you'll find it. And he shows everything that I have spoken about, everything that I've said, he shows, except for the one thing that no one else is ever talking about, and that is the fact that the A1 cannot produce 360-degree video where the viewer can look around. It's only the person wearing the goggles that can look around with the anti-gravity A1. So, to finish this, is it a rant? I don't know if it's a rant or not. But to finish this off, any of you who are watching now who have commented in a heated manner over the past week, please go and watch my 2-hour live stream. and you'll see the 5 points, how I break them down, and how it shows that I know what I'm talking about more than anyone else when it comes to 360-degree videos where the viewer can actually look around. No one in the world knows more than me about it, because no one else is producing those videos to the quality and at the rate that I'm doing and have been doing for 2 years. And then go and watch J Tech. Go and watch his video. I think he's changed the title or the thumbnail of the video, and it now says Anti-Gravity A1 do not buy. Right? Before the video just said something like Anti-Gravity A1 unsponsored video review. But now he's put up in big bold letters, do not buy. So that is the first video that I have seen since my live stream. I was first to say, don't buy it, do not buy it. But they're now, the videos are now starting to appear saying don't buy it. Okay, so if any of you, any of my subscribers who are in here tonight are still considering buying the Anti-Gravity A1, please message me, email me, and I'll set up a one-to-one video chat with you, and I'll talk to you about it before you throw that 1,500 quid into that drone. Please contact me, reach out and speak to me. I'll give you a one-to-one FaceTime call or Zoom call or whatever you want, and chat to you about it, because I'd hate to see any of my subscribers throw $1.5 grand away on a drone that really only has one purpose, and that purpose is to give you a great experience flying the drone and looking all around you while you're doing it. But even that, as Jay's Tech points out, has massive, massive problems attached to it. I'll just tell you one of the problems here the now, before I finish up tonight, is that the lag on the goggles is so bad that the frame rate dropped down to, Jay says, single digits, 8 or 9 frames per second. That's what he had, and he couldn't see. And the lag was, he reckoned, about 2 seconds. Now, if you're flying in an area, if you're flying quite low and there are obstacles around and you have a 2-second lag between what you're seeing and where the drone is, you're in real trouble. So he actually points this out, and he shows that happening. That was one of the things that I didn't mention, because none of the reviewers, not a single one of them, the sponsored reviewers, had mentioned anything about the frame rate in the goggles, the realistic frame rate, or any type of lag in the goggles. None of them had mentioned it. So therefore, and it didn't mention it in any of the marketing, obviously, and the spec sheet didn't say anything about that. So therefore, that was one thing I was completely unaware of. And that's one thing where if I had had the drone, I would have spotted that. I don't have the drone, so I obviously didn't spot that. But Jay's Tech has spotted that, and that one thing alone, despite all of the other reasons that I gave last week for not buying this drone, that one thing that Jay's Tech has pointed out about the bit rate going down to, the frame rate going down to single digits, and the lag is enough to say no chance, not a chance in hell. Just Woofy saw Jay's video, it gave him motion sickness. It did, and it also gave his brother motion sickness. Thanks for bringing that up, Just Woofy. Jay said that he has a tendency to suffer motion sickness, and he had motion sickness almost straight away when flying the A1. So he gave it to his, he didn't give it, he said to his brother, can you try this? And his brother, who doesn't suffer motion sickness, has never suffered motion sickness previously, had motion sickness as well. Now that's probably because if the frame rate drops down to such a low figure, 8 or 9, then you're going to get motion sick no matter. I don't care if you're Captain Haddock and you've spent 50 years standing on the deck of your fishing boat. If you're wearing goggles and the frame rate drops down to 9 frames per second, you're getting motion sickness. Stevie says, I can safely say this week without getting into bother that after watching some videos on it, I still won't be forking out the fortune it costs to buy it. Stevie, you make sense. Of course not. I mean, listen, I gave a 2-hour live stream last week warning people why not to buy this drone. If some people are still insisting they want to buy it, all I'll say is my offer to chat with you one-to-one, face-to-face on FaceTime or Zoom or whatever you choose to discuss your decision is open. I'm happy to do that with any of my subscribers. Subscribers only, right? Not any just random Joe blogs. So, there you go. There you go. Peter Manning said it. When it comes to 360 degrees, you're the man. Slanjiva yourself. I feel like a Viking drinking out of this thing. And I'm not telling you what's in it. But aye, you're right, Peter. Everyone who has a 360 degree camera can edit using the reframing method. And if you watched my Season 1, Episode 6 video of the coastline, where I'm walking through the MOD minefield, there's actually ordnance lying about. That's what those two guys were doing. They were collecting any ordnance that might have been lying about. If you watched that while I'm walking down there, that was filmed with the 360 degree, the Insta360 X4, and I reframed the video. So if you want to see a reframing video, that episode, the walk down there is completely reframed. It's easy to do. The other video, which I haven't released yet, and I will be releasing, will be the walk down there again with the 360 degree video, not reframed. It's where you can all look around. And that's what no one else is doing, right? Everyone's reframing. That's easy. Anyone can do it in their sleep. But the actual 360 footage where you as the viewer can look all around, no one else is doing it. Right. Dave says it, mind hit the thumbs up button, guys. I don't know how many likes or thumbs ups or whatever it is I've got here. Don't know. Can't tell. I'll get any idea. Maybe if I go into the other thing, it'll tell me there. It says none, but I'd have to refresh it to get the real number, and I don't want to do that. So anyway, if you haven't put a thumbs up in this video, this live stream, I'm waiting for that. There you go, fireworks. Please do so. And don't forget, like I said at the end of that wee clip, please leave a comment in my videos as well. It helps. The algorithm has changed. It changed in September, and it's very hard now to run a YouTube channel without the support of your members, subscribers, and viewers. Just watching a video isn't enough anymore. You know, you have to interact with it by giving it a thumbs up, leaving a comment, hitting the super chat. You know, I haven't had a super chat for months and months and months and months. Right, so that's it. Oh, here, hold on, before I was going to go there, but one arm EDRC, I don't know what that is. I've bought it, no problems from me, no frame rate drop, no lag at all. Excellent, that's great to hear, and hopefully Jay just got a bad one. Maybe he just got a bad drone, and so that's good. If you're having no problems at all, that's fine. The one thing I will say to you, one arm, I wonder if you only have one arm, and that's why the motion controller will be absolutely perfect for you, whereas the sticks controller is just not going to work for you at all. That's a good thing here. Although the motion controller leaves a lot to be desired, as I spoke about in my live stream last week. But here's the one thing that you won't be able to do with your A1, and that is create proper immersive 360-degree videos where if you post them to social media, your viewers will be able to look all around that flight that you took. You can't do that with the A1. You can do it, but the bit rate is so low that the quality would be like worse than 1080. It would be 420 probably quality, and no one could watch it. It would be unwatchable. So you can't actually do what I do with your A1, and I do an X4 360 X4, not even the X5. I do the X5 would be better, but I'm going to wait till the X6 comes out in April. But even with the X4, I can do what the A1 can't do. But I'm glad to hear that it's. And if you're picking up the DJI Avata 360 as well, you're obviously a man of a certain wealth. So get that super chat clicked and give me a quid. Or you're getting it. Right, that's good to hear. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel or not. If you have, I'd love to hear. You can email me and let me know, because I'd love to see a comparison, and I'm sure I will see many comparisons from some of the sponsored reviewers who I don't trust. I don't trust any of the reviews, so I will not trust any of their comparison videos. But if you have a YouTube channel, let me know what it is. And if you're going to be making a comparison video between the Avata 360 and the Anti-Gravity A1, I'd be really interested in watching that. And if there's anyone else out there who has an A1 and picks up the Avata 360, let me know if you're going to be making a comparison video. I'd be very interested. Unless you're a sponsored reviewer. If you're a sponsored reviewer, I am not interested at all in watching your reviews. Okay. Right. Okay. It's 4 minutes to 8. I'm going to get out of here now to give everyone time to get over to the drone seekers. Vince says, been flying my mate's A1 this weekend, and it's an amazing bit of kit. It's an amazing bit of kit, Vince, for what it is. And like I said last week in my live stream, my final point, 5 point, was that it's an absolutely terrific drone to give you that flying experience, to give you that experience of being in the drone and be able to look all around, or later on to review your flight and look all around, or to give someone else the goggles and look around. I have never had any kind of argument about that. I believe it is a fantastic drone for that one purpose. But that is it. That's its only purpose. It's not a creator's drone. It's a drone for someone who wants that flying experience. And if that's why anyone here who has bought it, that's why they bought it, then you bought it for a terrific reason. Because I believe that the flying experience from that drone will be absolutely out of this world. And if someone's got one close by, I want to come and have a shot at it, because I think it'll be terrific. But it's not for a creator. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here now so you can all go over to the Drone Seekers. Thanks for watching tonight. Thanks for anybody who gave me a super thanks. I don't think anybody did, but hey ho, there you go. I'll see you here next Sunday. Watch out for the videos coming out on the channel. Don't forget to like them and leave a comment, and I'll see you next week. Cheerio with a now.